Hello, everybody. It is me, your Tuesday, and today we're here talking about the Rising of the Shield Hero episode 9. Okay, so I've only watched the first 8 minutes of this episode, and man, just before I got to the 8 minutes, just seeing how one of the queen's spies is just hiding in a tree, just watching Nafumi interact with the new character named Melty. Was it? Yeah, it's kind of weird how they might they're probably going to talk about it in the later half of this episode, but I might cut this out if it doesn't happen. But I like it how her mom has reddish purple hair, like crimson hair, like a no like a magenta hair, and then her oldest eldest daughter has red hair, and then her youngest daughter has purple hair. Like, I wonder what the king's hair looked like when he was young, because he has white hair right now since he's an old man. But I wonder what his hair looked like when he was young. Like, was it still white, or was it like a type of black? Because it would make sense if it was like magenta with black, because then that could make like a purple or a red. The start of this episode was kind of weird, like with them, because in the manga, I'm pretty sure that they didn't go on an adventure. I think that right after Raftalia got infected by a curse from Nafumi's curse shield. Like, I'm pretty sure that he grabbed her and then just went straight to the capital. But in this, they make it they go on separate journeys. They keep on going on their journey, and then they go back, which I guess makes sense because it would take a while for them to get back. But if they skipped like the part that happened in the start of this episode, I probably wouldn't have been mad. But it's weird how they were fighting off against like little tiny bees and crocodiles. Like, man, those crocodiles. Like, man, those bees look like bees, but those crocodiles or alligators. Those things look whack. Like, they looked like them, but they just looked weird to me. They look like clown versions of like what they actually look like. I guess they are. I guess they are in like a fantasy slash game world, so I guess it makes sense. After that, when they met Melty, she was around other Philolias, and then for some reason they were all different colored. Like, that's the first time I think I've seen that. Like, I thought that they were all gonna be the same color. Like, I thought they were all just gonna be white. But I guess we did see a brown one a few episodes back. So I guess that. I guess I thought that maybe I thought that maybe Philo was special with her being white and not brown, but I guess they are different colors because I think they were like blue, green, brown, yellow. Like, man, after that, when they met the girl with the purple hair named Melty, she ended up really taking a liking to Philo, and then the Philo and Melty became friends, which I guess is kind of, it's also really funny seeing Nafumi treat her like a kid. I guess she is a kid because she was just born. So then he's just like, kids should be kids. So we should Philo, you should hang out with her. So then he let her hang out with Melty like the whole entire episode. After that, Raftalia and Nafumi went on to go to the village to go and heal people, which I can't believe that they're still healing people. Like, no wonder his name is spreading throughout the kingdom so much. Later in the episode, when Philo and Melty come back to it, Nafumi is like bandaging up Raftalia and like changing her bandages because like her curse is still there. And then after that, apparently Melty ends up saying that apparently when she was playing with the other Philolias, she ended up getting separated from her guards. So I guess she's gonna end up going on a journey with Nafumi now. I think I remember her from the manga, maybe. I think, yeah. It's all coming back to me as I'm talking about it. It's coming back to me with all the stuff that she gets on with Nafumi in the future with all events and stuff like that. And then after that, I like it how Nafumi is very reluctant to help her, but then Philo and Raftalia have to beg him to do it, or not beg, just coerce him into doing it by saying that they should help people because they're good guys. But I guess Nafumi still has his cynical viewpoint on the world because of the stuff that happened in previous episodes. But so far, I'm liking this episode. I really enjoyed the character introduction, and her Melty's voice actor is pretty good, and yeah, I can't wait to see what happens in the rest of this episode. So yeah, I'll be back in a few seconds to read the rest of this. Okay, I'm back. So I've watched from 8 minutes to about 12-30 minutes. So I've only watched about a few minutes of the rest of this episode. So, man, I like it how they only stayed in the village for that one night and then they just packed up and left. I find it kind of funny how Raftalia still has motion sickness. Like, you would think that with all of Nafumi's powers and stuff like that, and with them traveling so much, that she would get over it. I guess when they move slow, she's okay because when back last episode when she was in the cart with Nafumi when they were going up the mountain to defeat the dragon, she wasn't having motion sickness. So I guess it just happens if they go too fast. That then she actually has it. But we ended up seeing a montage because Melty was with them. We saw a montage with them just going on their adventure with them, beating up different monsters to gain levels and stuff like that, and then them also eating food. I like how I think because all of whenever Nafumi cooks in these episodes, it looks like almost like modern food. So I don't know if he's copying food that he's seen in this world, if it's like this world, or if he's actually doing his own recipes. Because I think that he does have skills with cooking, and I think his shield also helps him with that. They ended up they ended up at like camping out, and then Fumi and Raphtalia ended up seeing Melty's clothes on the floor, and then there's like, where did she go? Where did she go? It's kind of funny how they like think that Philo ate Melty, which I guess makes sense. It's kind of funny how she would. It's kind of funny, just like Nafumi mentioned and Raphtalia mentioned, how she's able to eat anything. Like she even wants to eat like her own kind, which is kind of messed up how they were thinking. So they're just like, oh well, if Philo can eat her own kind, then she can eat humans too. They ended up questioning her when she woke up in front of them, and then after that, they ended up seeing that apparently she's sleeping inside of her. Like Melty was sleeping inside of her feathers, like she was like in it, and then she had to pop out of it. Now this is what I'm wondering, just like dogs, just like very furry dogs, like if you were to shave like a Philolia, what would they look like? Like would they look like a cat almost? Like how cats look very very poofy and stuff like that, but then when you shave them, look like sticks. Like after that, Raphtalia ended up trying to put her hand in it and seeing how far it goes, and then she ended up falling asleep with them. Raphtalia, Philo, and Melty just ended up falling asleep together while Nafumi was just dumbfounded, just looking at one of Philo's feathers, just being like, "Does Philo's feathers have the power to make people fall asleep?" And I wonder if I'm pretty sure that he did grab one of her. I think he grabbed one of the eggshells and then put it inside his shield, but I don't know if he put a feather in it. Maybe he did put a feather in it before, because then he would have known if there was like a sleeping effect, because that would come in handy for battling monsters and stuff like that. And then after that, they ended up getting to the capital, the royal capital, to like send off Melty to like go back home and stuff like that, since he's the one that got her there. And I like it how he sends off Philo to go with her, which is bound to have bad stuff happen. And then after that, Naofumi and Raphtalia went over to the church, the holy church, to get the cure, to get the holy water in order to fix Raphtalia, which is going to go bad, because just when I stopped this episode right now to record this part, he ended up looking at the church's like at this building structure, and found out that they only like the three heroes. They don't like the shield hero, which I guess is I think they mentioned that is a part of their religion. I don't think that they mentioned that in past episodes. Maybe they did, but if they didn't, it is kind of an interesting fact how that's a thing. But yeah, I'll be back in a few minutes to read the rest of this. Okay, I am back, and man, just like from the ending of this episode, this is the exact same feeling that I had in the friggin' manga. Just like, Nafumi, what is wrong with you? Nafumi, what is wrong with you? You can clearly see that mine's younger sister Melty-san is completely different. Like literally, he can see that. He can see that it's completely different. He even met the spies to the queen, but I guess he didn't know that the spies were like a part of the queen's like guard yet. I guess he didn't know that. He just thought that they were just random people that for some reason had control over mine's son during like the whole entire like race between the shield hero and spear hero. But like, man, I just hate like his man, that goes on for a while. Like I think that went on for like maybe 5, maybe 10 chapters of him like not being able to trust her. Like I just hate like that whole entire thing. Like she's just like trying to ask him. They like go to like where the blacksmith's house is to like have an open discussion, and then like the second princess Melty's just like trying to get Nafumi to do a request, but then Nafumi just like says I don't want to have any part of this, and then says get lost to her, and then she ends up being very surprised because he was open to having a discussion, but once she like insinuated that she was going to like ask a request, he just asked her to leave, and you could just see her face going from like trying to be respectable as possible to like being like just like shocked and kind of scared at him with how like pissed off he's being, because some of that is because of I guess it is all because of Mind Son like and the King, because he found out like Mind Son and the King are like intertwined into just like asshole douchebags. After the part that I watched last, we saw how he went to the church. I really like the voice that they gave the Pope. Like I recognize that voice, and I think it's perfect, especially for later parts of the season. Especially when like that stuff might happen. No wait, that stuff might happen in the second season. It depends on how fast they are, because because this is at episode 9. Yeah, we'll probably get there by the end of this episode. Yeah, because probably by episode 15 or 16, we'll probably get more action based stuff, and then by the end of the season, we'll have like stuff with the church maybe, because like I'm like getting ahead of myself right now. This I don't know. He ended up getting his he ended up having trouble getting the pure holy water. He had to pay a gold coin, but then one of the Pope's like nuns ended up giving Nofumi a bad one. So then he ended up asking for a better one, and then the Pope is like, "Nun, did you disgrace my word? I'm the voice of God. Like, did you seriously just not give him like something?" And he ends up like spreading equality, even though that the church I think hates demi-humans. I don't know if they do or not, but I'm pretty sure that they do. Maybe I think. and then like he ends up actually giving it to the Pope ends up actually giving it to Nafumi, and then he doesn't even use it. Like when they leave, like does he even give it to Raphtalia yet? Like he doesn't even give it to her yet. They leave it like she still has her bandages on. Because if he did give it to her, then she would just take those off, or maybe she did take it, but they just didn't take it off. Like it was weird seeing that. After that, one of the like that kid Knight from a few episodes back ended up coming back and was chasing after Nafumi because he was trying to get his attention, but then Nafumi ended up just running away with Raphtalia, trying to like escape him because he doesn't want to have anything to do with like the royal knights and stuff like that because they were part of the kingdom. The spear hero ended up showing up out of nowhere, and they ended up having a fight again. Now, I remember them having like a little scuffle, but I don't remember Mindsun coming out of nowhere and asking for another official duel. Now that's kind of different, unless that did happen, but my mind's fuzzy because it has been a while. He ends up like saying like, "What's wrong with you with trying to like getting like another slave?" Even though that time he had a slave because of that. I guess for some reason they just don't like the slave thing, even though he treats them right, and he even knows that they treat him right because they like Raphtalia did like say like everything that Nafumi does to her, but he's just like not listening. Man, the spear hero, like he's like just a moron. He's like a douchebag. He's just like such a friggin' loser. Like he's such a creep too. Like he loves like he keeps on like he ended up like boasting about how he loves angels and he loves blonde haired girls. Like man, Philo is a child. Like man, I could just like oh my god, man. Like I remember him being kind of like into her in the manga, but seeing it in animated form just made it so much worse. And then he ended up trying to fight Nafumi, but then as they're fighting, the spear hero is using his abilities and end up causing chaos. He's like destroying like the whole entire like section of like the town and stuff like that in the city that they're in, and then he ends up like destroying people's like livelihood and stuff like that. Like he's just like man, all of the other heroes are just like nothing like Nafumi. They're just a bunch of like assholes that just do whatever they want because they're heroes. Well, because of the way that Nafumi's been, he's like a man of the people. He's the savior of the full. Melty-san came in and then ended up stopping the duel that Mind-san was trying to do, and then she was also able to get the spear hero to stand down, like telling him to look around and see everything that he's done and caused. And then after that, the spear hero ends up meeting Philo in her human form and then like tries to like get her to like join him, but then after that he ends up saying how much he hates Nafumi's bird because she isn't around, but then because Philo hears that, the spirit hero also calls Philo a fat bird, so then she ends up getting mad, turns into her bird form, then ends up kicking him in the nuts again. He even put like metal plates on his balls and where his weirdo is, but then she ended up just breaking it because of how powerful she is, and he just ended up flying in the sky again. And then of course like Mind Son is like getting all like scared again, like trying to like tell him to go to the hospital. Like man, that's some very funny stuff right there. Said the episode ended with Melty Son trying to get Nafumi's help with something, and yeah, this episode was pretty good. Even though that it was mostly just a bunch of talking and stuff like that, with them just meeting plot progression this episode. But I enjoyed it. The stuff at the ending was pretty like interesting and to see and seeing that drama based stuff. But yeah, those are all the thoughts on this episode. I can't wait until next week because I think that we're gonna get into some pretty cool stuff in the future. And yeah, if you enjoyed this review slash my thoughts and my opinions on this episode, leave a like. If you didn't enjoy this at all, leave a dislike. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video next week. And yeah, bye.